Good morning. Welcome to our first ever OpenAI DevDay. Today, we've got about 2 million developers, over 92% of Fortune 500 companies building on our products, and we have about 100 million weekly active users now on ChatGPT. Today, we are launching a new model, GPT-4 Turbo. Number one, context length. GPT-4 supported up to 8K, and in some cases up to 32K context length. GPT-4 Turbo supports up to 128,000 tokens of context. That's 300 pages of a standard book, 16 times longer than our 8K context. Number two, more control. We have a new feature called JSON mode, which ensures that the model will respond with valid JSON. The model is also much better at function calling. You can now call many functions at once. We're also introducing a new feature called reproducible outputs. You can pass a seed parameter, and it'll make the model return consistent outputs. Number three, better world knowledge. You can bring knowledge from outside documents or databases into whatever you're building. GPT-4 Turbo has knowledge about the world up to April of 2023, and we will continue to improve that over time. New modalities. DALL-E 3, GPT-4 Turbo with vision, and the new text-to-speech model are all going into the API today. GPT-4 Turbo can now accept images as inputs via the API. It can generate captions, classifications, and analysis. Our new text-to-speech model, you'll be able to generate incredibly natural-sounding audio from text in the API. We're also releasing the next version of our open-source speech recognition model, Whisper v3, today. OK, number five, customization. Fine-tuning has been working really well for GPT 3.5. We're going to expand that to the 16K version of the model. You may want a model to learn a completely new knowledge domain, or to use a lot of proprietary data. So today we're launching a new program called Custom Models. With custom models, our researchers will work closely with a company to help them make a great custom model. Okay. And then number six, higher rate limits. We're doubling the tokens per minute for all of our established GPT-4 customers, and you'll be able to request changes to further rate limits and quotas directly in your API account settings. So we're introducing Copyright Shield. Copyright Shield means that we will step in and defend our customers and pay the costs incurred if you face legal claims around copyright infringement. We do not train on data from the API or ChatGPT Enterprise ever. And GPT-4 Turbo is considerably cheaper than GPT-4 by a factor of 3x for prompt tokens and 2x for completion tokens. Since for most customers, that will lead to a blended rate more than 2.75 times cheaper to use. We're also decreasing the cost of GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K, which means that GPT 3.5 16K is now cheaper than the previous GPT 3.5 4K model. ChatGPT now uses GPT-4 Turbo with all the latest improvements, including the latest knowledge cutoff, which we'll continue to update. That's all live today. It can now browse the web when it needs to, write and run code, analyze data, take and generate images, and much more. And we heard your feedback, that model picker, extremely annoying. That is gone starting today. We're thrilled to introduce GPTs. GPTs are tailored versions of ChatGPT for a specific purpose. You can build a GPT, a customized version of ChatGPT for almost anything, with instructions, expanded knowledge, and actions, and then you can publish it for others to use. You can, in effect, program a GPT with language just by talking to it. This makes building them very accessible. Canva has built a GPT that lets you start designing by describing what you want in natural language. We've made it so that you can program a GPT just by having a conversation. You can make private GPTs, like I just did. Or you can share your creations publicly with a link for anyone to use. Or if you're on ChatGPT Enterprise, you can make GPTs just for your company. And later this month, we're going to launch the GPT Store. Revenue sharing is important to us. We're going to pay people who build the most useful and the most used GPTs a portion of our revenue. Many of you have already been building agent-like experiences on the API. But today, we're making that a lot easier with our new Assistance API. The Assistance API includes persistent threads, built-in retrieval, code interpreter, and of course, the improved function calling that we talked about earlier.
Creating an assistant is easy. I say, hey, let's go to Paris. With just a few lines of code, users can now have a very specialized assistant. Say, hey, what are the top 10 things to do? Have the assistant respond to that again. And here, all of these pins are dropping in real time here. Yeah. What's happening is that Retrieval is reading these files, and boom, the information about this PDF appeared on the screen.
GPTs and assistants are precursors to agents. They'll gradually be able to plan and to perform more complex actions on your behalf.